the tenants that are deep into this space. This property is unique. There is no other property like Union Station from a width and length standpoint. We're roughly about 90 foot wide on this building, but we're 800 feet deep in measurement. And when you look at that, that type of depth, we need the pylon for the tenants that are on the interior of the space and have no real ability to front Douglas. And so in this case, the bank being the front tenant, the best location for that front tenant is to utilize part of the building to make sure that they are getting the proper branding. And at the end of the day, I would think all of us that have had historical buildings or are involved in the historical process, our number one mandate when it comes in my book in responsibility from a historical preservation is to make sure at the end of the day, these properties are viable in today's world so that we can preserve the history of the past. And there's a very limited amount of tenants that want to go in historical properties for the very reason that they can be complicated, they can be expensive to maintain, they can be expensive to develop, and that affects pricing. And so you do have to have special companies and people that want to be in these buildings and want to preserve them. And because it's a small percentage, we have to make sure that we're supporting those that are wanting to basically tote the note to be able to preserve these buildings. And so at the end of the day, I think that's our number one aspect here is to do things, especially when it's a temporary item, it's not a permanent item, to make sure that we are preserving these buildings and they're viable for the future. If not, then buildings ultimately at the end of the day get tore down because they're not viable. So that would be the limit to our comments.
Staff
okay,
question
thank
here.
you.
Sorry, excuse me, staff question. Thank you, Gary. Just one quick question. You said you're with Occidental Management, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just seeing in our records that the owner of this property is Union Station LLC. Do you have an affiliation with that LLC, or are you the property manager?
No, I'm the owner.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are there any other comments from the board? Okay, does anyone have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, excuse me, this is legal counsel, Abby. I just wanted to make sure, were we going to do public comment or was there not any?
I thought I called for it earlier, but we can call for it again.
I apologize. I didn't hear that.
Do we have any public comment on this following the applicant's comments?
I do not see any here in the room.
Okay, so are there any comments? I'll just ask again, are there any further comments from the board? Okay, so hearing none, I'll stand for a motion.
Could we please go to the slide that has a recommended motion by staff? Thank you. If you need assistance in preparing an alternate motion, please let me know.
I'd like to make the motion. The recommended motion, this is Deborah Miller-Stevens. The recommended motion is I move to find that the proposed illuminated signage does not, I would say, meet the Secretary of Interior standards for the treatment of historic properties as reviewed in accordance with KSA 75-2724. Do we need to include the additional case number on that, the 6-2 number? Okay, sorry. And will damage or destroy any historical significant property or historic character, defining features, and recommend denial of the illuminated signage at 701 and 703 East Douglas Avenue.
Is there a second?
Willenberg seconds.
I think given the small group, we'll do a roll call vote. Let's go to District 2, Steve Klein. So the motion is to essentially to deny. So a yay is for denial and a no is for against that.
Yay.
District 3,
Yay.
District 4 is not present. District 5, Chad Glenn.
Yay.
District 5. I'm sorry, District 6
Yay.
and Mayor appointee.
No.
Motion to deny passes 4-1. Pursuant to the city code, the applicant has up to 7 days to file an appeal to the city clerk to be heard at the latest or the next city council meeting. Pursuant to state preservation law, the city council member has to determine that there are no feasible or prudent alternatives to minimize damage onto the property.
Okay, seeing that there is no other business today, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn. Steve Klein.
Willenberg second.
Having been moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Excellent. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've been here before, but it's been a while since I've been here. I'm dealing with.
Recording stopped.